Ça fait connexion bien là.
Um, Hello everyone. Uh, so we're gonna wait for a while so people would join us. One. We're gonna wait for 5 minutes since people are still not showing up. We are sorry about the late. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar and about the disruptions of COVID-19 on our mental health. And my name is Sheila, a student major in Ahmed University, minoring in gender studies. And today, alongside my teammate and I, we will be presenting a webinar, uh, the supervision of now in the class of professional communication. And this assignment is, by the way, graded. And we'll be tackling the topic which, okay, I'm gonna talk with the. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm gonna start with the presentation. So we are 5 girls presenting this presentation, and I'm gonna start with Asma Shakir Alawi. She's an AI student, majoring in computer studies. Uh, and then we have Amal Mudir. She's a business administration student at Akhawain University. And then we have Marwa Khattabi. She's also a business administration student at Al Akhawain University. And then we have Yasmin Al She's a business administration student as well. For today's webinar, We will be talking about the disruption of COVID-19 and how COVID-19 affected the employees' mental health. This topic is very important to discuss. But before that, we're gonna go with the outline of the webinar. So, Esma is gonna talk about the impacts of COVID-19 on the employees' mental health, and then the second point, which will be talked. We're gonna talk about work from home and mental health with Yasmin, and then the employer's role in the employee's mental health with Marwa, and then the conclusion and the action plan with Amal, and then we're gonna leave more room for discussion, feedback, and questions from our viewers. So I just want to give an overall overview about this topic. Why is it important to discuss it? We all know that mental health is pretty important as much as the physical one, and with COVID hitting the world, it was an unknown disease. No one knew what to do. So we all kind of lost a big part of our mental stability, especially people who work and who had to change their work ethics from working in offices to working from home, and that affected and that had a huge effect on people's mental state. And we want people to know more about why this topic should be treated equally as the physical health as well. So, Esma is going to start with the impact of COVID-19 on the employees' mental health. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Shaima. Can you hear me? It's
Can you unmute yourself, Esma? The floor is yours.
okay. Thank you. So, as we all know, an unprecedented global crisis brought on the COVID-19 epidemic has disrupted people's lives and livelihoods around the world. The pandemic's effects were beyond only being physical, as they also had a big influence on the mental health of the majority of people and especially employees. In other words, people's mental health has been impacted by the pandemic, which has raised stress, anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues in many workplaces. People all throughout the world have been influenced by COVID-19 epidemic in several ways. Globally, there were about 676 million COVID-19 cases as of February 3, 2023, and the illness was responsible for more than 6.77 million deaths. So, only concerning the health sector, according to the study conducted by Qatar Foundation, between 20 and 37% of health and care professionals developed a severe depression, and between 23 and 46% of them reported experiencing severe anxiety during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is huge. And according to combined estimates, the pandemic caused burnout among health and care professionals, but also amongst employees, and that ranges from 41 to 52%. The risk of psychological discomfort was shown to be higher in women, adolescents, and parents of dependent children. And after showing you all this data that backs up how alarming the situation was, we also have how, according to Total Brain and the National Alliance of Healthcare, the percentages of PTSD has climbed month after month, and as of June 2022, it was 51% greater than pre-pandemic era. Now I'm gonna move on to the heart of the topic, the impact of COVID-19 on employees' mental health. And the first reason was the move to remote work, and it was an important effect of the pandemic on employees' mental health. Several businesses have relied on remote work to stay afloat during the pandemic. However, this change has also presented new difficulties for workers, such as worsening of social isolation and a blending of work and personal life and a lack of work-life balance. And many workers who work from home claim to feel uncomfortable and disconnected from their coworkers and find it very hard to find motivation and focus. Also, with managers depending on technology to track their employers' productivity, it has created a sense of surveillance, which put people in a very stressful and burnout situation. The second impact is job uncertainty, and job uncertainty has had a substantial negative influence on employees' mental health as a result of the pandemic. Millions of employees are apprehensive about their futures as a result of several firms being compelled to decrease or eliminate their workforce. For many people, the stress of losing their job or the stress of finding another job has been quite high, and employees have found it difficult to make plans for their future as a result of this uncertainty, which has led them to feeling hopeless and dejected. The third reason is, in addition to that, the pandemic has significantly increased economic uncertainty. With many firms finding it challenging to stay afloat, many employees now face financial uncertainty as a result of this. For some people, the pandemic financial effects have been tragic, resulting in job loss, lower income, problems fulfilling financial responsibilities, as well as difficulty paying bills. The fourth aspect is that employees with pre existing mental health disorders have seen a considerable decline in their mental health as a result of the lockdown, which means those with a pre existing mental health disorder have difficulty adequately managing their symptoms as the result of the pandemic's pressures, including those that I have previously mentioned. And to basically conclude, what I'm saying is that the COVID-19 epidemic has had a multitude of adverse consequences on employees' mental health, with some of the most prominent ones, including the ones that I mentioned, being increased stress and anxiety, social isolation, uncertainty, job instability, financial hardship, burnouts, and an influence on work life balance. This is also one of the reasons why employers had to be aware of these effects and take action to promote the well being of their staff members. This may include offering resources and assistance for mental health, promoting work life balance, and making sure that staff members have access to tools that will help them properly manage their mental health. And to explain this, I will leave my classmates to do so.
Mary?
Thank you, Asma. Thank you so much. Now we're gonna jump from this new concept of work from home and mental health with Yasmin Lazraq. The floor is yours, Yasmin.
Thank you, Shema. During this part of the webinar, we will discuss the impact of work from home on employee mental health, the challenges that employees face while working remotely, and the strategies that employers and employees can implement to copy with the negative impacts of remote work on mental health. First of all, we will discuss the impact of work from home on employee mental health. One of the significant changes brought about by the pandemic is the shift towards remote work, with many employees working from home. So, while remote work can offer many benefits, it can also lead to mental health issues. For example, the lack of social interaction, as remote work can be isolating, leading to a lack of social interaction that can contribute to feelings of loneliness, disconnection, and depression. The second impact is blurring of boundaries between work and personal life, as remote work can make it challenging to separate work and personal life, leading to increased stress and burnout. And the increased screen time, as working remotely often requires employees to spend long hours in front of screens, leading to eye strain, headaches, and other physical discomfort. For the second part, we will explain some of the challenges that employees face while working from home, as it can present many challenges that can impact employee mental health. These challenges may include juggling work and family responsibilities, as many employees are dealing with the added responsibility of caring for children or elderly family members, leading to increased stress and anxiety. The difficulty in disconnecting from work, as remote work can make it challenging to switch off from work, leading to overwork, burnout, and decreased productivity. Then loneliness, as remote work can be isolating, leading to a lack of social interaction, which can contribute to a sense of disconnection and decreased sense of belonging. And finally, inadequate home office setup, leading to physical discomfort, as many employees may not have access to ergonomic workstations, leading to physical discomfort such as back and neck pain, which can contribute to stress and burnout. So, to manage the negative impact of work from home on employee mental health, it is crucial to implement strategies that can support their well being. These strategies may include encouraging employees to set boundaries between work and personal life, can help them maintain a healthy work life balance and reduce stress. Also, motivating employees to establish a regular schedule can help create a sense of structure and predictability, which can be beneficial during times of uncertainty. Supporting employees to take regular breaks during the workday can help reduce stress and prevent burnout. And inspiring employees to maintain social connections can help reduce feelings of isolation and loneliness. Also, providing employees with resources to create a suitable workspace, such as an ergonomic workstation and proper lighting, can help reduce physical discomfort and improve productivity. And finally, providing employees with access to mental health resources, such as counseling services or mental health apps, can help employees manage stress and anxiety and improve their mental health. So, overall, while remote work can offer many benefits, such as increased flexibility and reduced commuting time, it is important for employers to be aware of the potential impact on employee mental health and take steps to mitigate any negative effects. This can include providing resources for mental health supports, encouraging work life balance, and fostering social connections among remote workers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. That was a good way of presenting how to cope with such problem. Now we're gonna move with the employer's role in employees' mental health with Marwa Khtabi. The floor is yours, Marwa.
Thank you. So in my part, I'm going to talk about the role of employers in employee mental health. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought unprecedented challenges to businesses and organizations worldwide and has forced employers to adapt to new and changing conditions to protect the health and the safety of their employees. As the pandemic continues to evolve, employers must take responsibility for ensuring the well-being of their workers, not only to comply with legal requirements, but also to maintain the trust and loyalty of their workforce. So in this context, it is crucial for employees to understand their responsibilities toward their employees during this crisis and to develop appropriate strategies and policies to address the changing conditions caused by this pandemic. So first, they should communicate regularly with their employees to inform them about company policies and procedures related to COVID-19 to prevent the spread of it in the workplace, including any news as well as provide updates on the pandemic in general. Communication can be through emails, newsletters, or home meetings. Also, providing a safe workplace. Employers should provide a safe workplace that is free from any danger or risk that may cause death or serious physical harm. This includes implementing measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19, such as social distancing, providing personal protective equipment, and regularly sanitizing the workplace. We have also provided the resources. Employers must pay attention to employees' mental health and providing support for employees who may be experiencing anxiety, stress related to the pandemic by offering mental health resources such as employee assistance programs, counseling services, and mental health hotlines. They should also provide information on how to access these resources and ensure that they are confidential. Encouraging self-care, employers can encourage their employees to take care of themselves by taking breaks, practicing self-care activities like exercises, and seeking support when needed. This can be done through wellness programs, flexible work schedules, and promoting work-life balance. Also, accommodating needs. Employers should accommodate the needs of employees who may be struggling with mental health issues related to the pandemic, such as employees who are feeling unwell to stay home and seek medical attention if necessary. Also providing remote work options or adjusting a deadline to take time off work if they need to care for themselves. We have also created a friendly workplace. Companies can create a supportive environment by fostering open communication, raising awareness of mental health difficulties, and eliminating any stigma associated with with such problems. This can be accomplished through training, employee surveys, and corporate-wide initiatives. Providing accommodation for vulnerable employees. Employers should consider providing accommodations for employees who are at higher risk of severe illness from COVID-19, such as allowing them to work from home or providing additional PPE, which helps in protecting the other employees as well. And finally, complying with relevant laws and regulations. Employees should comply with all the relevant laws and regulations related to COVID-19, including those related to the workplace safety and accommodations for employees with disabilities.
Thank you, dear Marwa, so much for explaining deeper. And now we're gonna move with Amal Mundir, and she's gonna give us a conclusion about this whole topic and an action plan for future in the job. The floor is yours, Amal.
Hello, everyone. Today in my part, I'll be discussing the steps that an employer or employee can take to address the mental health challenges during the COVID-19. So, as we know, for both employee and employers, the COVID-19 pandemic has presented never before seen difficulties given the short move to remote work, adjustments to work hours, and the rise in stress and anxiety. It's critical that businesses and employees collaborate to address the mental health issues. Here are some steps for conversation that can be used by both employers and employees to address the mental health issues during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the first step is to create a safe and a supportive environment. Employers can take the lead in creating a safe and a supportive environment by implementing the measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the workplace. Also, they can give staff members access to tools like mindfulness apps, mental health services, and stress management classes to help them deal with their stress and anxiety. Step number 2 is to create communication and feedback. Companies should promote open communication between managements and staffs. The existing work environment can how it affect employees' mental health should be openly discussed by all employees. Employers can utilize this feedback to adjust things as needed to help their staff. Step number 3, implement flexible work arrangement. Companies may choose to employ flexible work arrangement like job sharing, telecommuting, and the flexible work schedules. These arrangements can aid workers in striking a balance between their personal and professional obligation, lessen stress and anxiety, and enhance their mental health. Step number 5 is to educate employees on their mental health. Employee can inform staff members about their mental health, including its indication and symptoms, such as how to get assistance in order to support their workers. Employers, they can also offer them resources like employee assistance programs and mental health resources. Step number 5, which is the last step, to establish a supportive environment, as we said in the first step. Employers can foster a supportive environment by reducing mental health consequences and mental health conditions. Employees should feel emboldened and supported to ask for their assistance when necessary without working about facing repercussion. So I'll give you guys a general conclusion of what we discussed in our webinar this evening. The employees must take an action to support their staff members' mental health and well-being during this trying period, because the overall impact of the COVID on the employees' mental health has been significant. Offering resources for mental health, encouraging work-life balances, and cultivating a welcoming and inclusive workplace atmosphere are few steps how you can do this. I'll give the floor back to Asma.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for presenting. But we still have more time for discussion, feedback, and questions. So please, viewers, if you have anything, we'll be gladly answering you. If there is any feedback, we'll gladly hear it. We're gonna wait for more questions to and more people to comment their questions, and we'll start answering them. Again, guys, for our dear viewers, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate. And I would like also to add, if you have any experience with such a topic, please, we'll be delighted to hear your story. Okay, we have one question, and it's from Haytham Isabir. He says, please, what is the most effective solution to lack of motivation to work during lockdown? The floor is yours, ladies, to answer the question.
I think I can answer this question, but I believe there is no one-size-fits-all solution to the lack of motivation, especially during lockdown. I think during these uncertain times, it was very hard to keep track and to be kind to yourself. But what could help was creating a routine, setting goals, and taking breaks, but also being connected to your family, to the people you know, so that you feel less isolated. Practicing self-care was very important too, and staying positive, obviously, as we know.
Thank you, Asma, for answering that question. I hope Haytham had his question answered. Thank you, Haytham, for your question. Moving on to another question from Haru Haru, and she says, or he or they say, in your own experience, how big did the pandemic affect your studies and motivation, and how did you girls overcome it? Again, the floor is yours. Girls, can you hear me? If no one answers the question, I would like to step up. in my own experience, the pandemic did really affect my studies since we went online for almost 2 years. It was pretty hard to manage with the classes and with the work as well. And I'm sure even the professors had the same struggle keeping up with everyone's schedule at home and with the stress coming from outside the world, COVID and all. So it was pretty damaging to my motivation as well. And the way I overcame it was through going back offline, going back to classes, going back to the real world, to classes with professors face to face. And honestly, I there's no other way to overcome such problem in my experience. I'm not sure about the other girls, but if they want to answer this question, they can step up and do. Okay, if not, we'll move to another question from Ilyas Aizbita. What resources are available to employees who are struggling with mental health issues during the pandemic? The floor is yours.
I can answer this question. So fortunately, there are several resources available to employees who are struggling with mental health issues during this time, such as employee assistance programs, mental health hotlines. There are many mental health hotlines that employees can call for immediate support. Also, virtual therapy. Many therapists and mental health professionals now offer virtual therapy sessions, which can be a convenient and accessible way to receive mental health support from the comfort of one's own home. Also, employers can play a critical role in supporting employees' mental health during this pandemic. This can include offering flexible work arrangements, providing mental health resources and support, and promoting a positive and supportive work culture. Employees can reach out to their HR department or supervisor for guidance and on available resources. It is important for employees to know that there are resources available to support their mental health during this pandemic. Seeking help is a sign of strength, and taking care of one's mental health is essential for overall well-being.
Thank you, Yasmin, for this answer. I hope Ilyas Aizbita got his question answered. We have another question from Aya Yuri. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. What are some effective ways to combat COVID-19 related stress and anxiety in the workplace?
I can also answer this question. There's many effective ways to combat COVID-19 related stress and anxiety in the workplace, including communication. As open and honest communication is key to reducing anxiety in the workplace. Flexible work arrangements such as remote work or flexible schedules to help employees manage their stress and anxiety during the pandemic. Um, Employers should also promote physical health resources such as wellness programs or access to telemedicine to help employees stay healthy during the pandemic. Breaks and time off can also help. So this can include offering paid time off or flexible scheduling to allow for mental health breaks. Supportive workplace culture, as employers can create a supportive workplace culture by promoting teamwork, empathy, and positivity. This can include recognizing employee accomplishments and providing opportunities for social connections and encouraging a healthy work life balance.
Okay, Yasmin, thank you so much for your answer. I hope Aya got her question answered and satisfied with the answer. Thank you, Aya, for the question. We have another question from Nadia Bin Jaloun. that says, how has remote work impacted employee mental health during the pandemic?
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced many companies to shift to remote work, and this transition has had a significant impact on employee mental health in many ways, such as increased isolation, blurred boundaries between work and home life, reduced social interaction, technology related stress, and lack of access to resources.
Thank you, Yasmin, again for the answer. And thank you, Nadia, for your question. We have another comment from Nina. I really got affected by the pandemic lockdown. Do you have any ways to overcome it and come back to normal life? I think this question is very, very fitting since it's been 3 years and we're still stuck, some of us stuck in the same cycle. So please go on, anyone.
I can answer that question. I think it's very important that you keep a positive attitude and focus on the things that you cannot control, that you can control, because as we know, the pandemic was something out of our control, and you we have to accept this, that the situation is challenging, but remember that it won't last forever, and that it's completely okay to struggle during these hard times, and put your best efforts and do like try the hardest you can to overcome it.
Thank you, Esma, for your answer. Thank you, Nina, for your question. And I hope this answer will help you later on with your work and your studies. We have another question from Bushra, and it says, do you guys have a solution on how to regain motivation after the end of the lockdown? Marwa, can you answer this question? Marwa, can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Probably by engaging more with more people, trying activities. This is a good ways to gain motivation. Also, engaging in activities that you can enjoy it, and that's it.
Thank you, Marwa, for the answer. Thank you, Bushra, for your question. I hope it got answered. So we're gonna wait for a few minutes again for more questions. Thank you. By the way, I want to thank all the people that are commenting on our live. Very supportive comments. Thank you so much. Okay, we have another question, or more of a long comment. Iman Zarra says, personally, in order to get my motivation back, I tried to reconnect little by little with my social life, forgot about the fear caused by the pandemic. Work-wise, I try not to overdo, keeping my cool. That is very true, Iman. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I would say I relate to that as well, and hopefully even my friends do. because reconnecting little by little, step by step, is going to take a long time. But trust the process, as they say, and forgetting about the fear that is caused by the pandemic, the fear of getting infected by the COVID itself, the fear of not doing good, the fear of always stressing about your boss, about your work performance. Uh, you should know that you're not alone. Everyone goes through that. Everyone actually went through that. So try not to overdo, work on yourself, and keep your cool, as Iman says. We have also another comment that says, I'm a teacher. And do you guys have any solutions on how can I adjust my way of educating the students who also have been affected by the frustrating lockdown? Can someone answer that question? Can Amal answer that question? Can you answer it?
Yeah, let me think about the answer. I'll answer it.
Yes, sure.
I would say maybe as Marwa said, like try to motivate them and like um, help them to forget about what happened by, I think they need to engage in activities and yeah, and try not to think about what happened, and that's it.
Yeah, and relating to what the other commenter Iman said, that she tries not to overdo herself. I think as a teacher as well, try not to overdo or try uh, your best, because maybe sometimes it's not gonna work. Working little by little with the students, engaging them in activities, engaging them in social activities, especially after the lockdown, is pretty important. We have another comment from Hatim Haddawi that says, very good speech, Shima. Do you see that remote working has retained the same qualities as face to face, or do we still need to develop remote working tools soon? Um, do you see? Thank you, Hatim, for your comment. I think remote working uh, uh, doesn't have the same qualities as face to face. I fear face to face will and still remain better option than working remotely or working from home. Although we had to work from home because of the pandemic, and it was beneficial in order to decrease the numbers of the the people getting infected by COVID. But still, I think remotely working or working from home is no better than face to face. I still prefer face to face. And we still need to develop, especially here in Morocco, we still need to develop more tools from working home to home. In my personal experience with university, it was hard managing my classes online because of Wi-Fi problems or because of the software we are using. However, it went up smoothly, I guess, and now we're back face to face. Thank you, Hassan, for your comments. We have another question from Manula024. I have one question: how to create a ritual to lift you up and regain motivation? Either Asma or Yasmin can answer the question.
I can do that. So, I guess creating a ritual can be a powerful way to lift up your mood and regain motivation. So, you can begin by identifying your goal. Before you begin creating a ritual, identify the goal you want to achieve. Knowing your goal will help you tailor your ritual to meet your specific needs. Then you can choose a time and a place where you can perform your ritual without interruption. It can either be in the morning to start your day, or in the evening to wind down before bed. Then you select your activities, choose the activities that align with your goal and make you feel good. This can include meditation, yoga, journaling, listening to music, for example. Then, when you have selected your activities, create a routine that can follow consistently. This can help your brain recognize that it's time to switch off and shift into a more positive mindset. You can make it personal, so you can reflect your unique needs and preferences. And what is most important is to stay consistent, as consistency is the key when it comes to creating a ritual that works. So try to perform your ritual at the same time every day and stick to it even when you don't feel like it. Over time, you will become it will become a habit that you look forward to and rely on to lift your mood and regain motivation.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. Thank you, Manula, for your question. I hope you are satisfied with the answer. It is with sad news and unfortunately that we're going to end our webinar. Thank you so much for all the viewers that commented, for all the people who didn't comment as well, for the people who only said good things. We will meet in the next webinar, hopefully, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.